Hello my beloved friends. So in today's session, I have channeled the Pleiadians in order to query about guidance for the August 22nd. And we already know that from the August 22nd, our higher self will be trying to make communication with us. And as per the previous channeling sessions that I have done, we have received some wonderful insights, and we have also received how we can prepare ourselves for the August 22nd timeline. Okay, in today's session, the Pleiadians, they share with us share with us a technique that we can use to open up our right side of the brain, so that we are able to receive more communication in an open manner from our concerned higher self. And this technique is described towards the end of the session by the Pleiadians, along with there is a story about how the soul contracts are created and how the karma is balanced. Okay, and also they explain to us the concept of hell. Okay, it's actually wrong. So hell does not exist, but there is a period, okay, which may be considered like that, but it's not like many people they believe. Okay, so the thing is, hell does not exist, but the concept of soul contracts and the concept of balancing of karma, they exist, and they tell us a short story about how it works, because I wanted to understand about this concept, because I wanted to know, okay, whether it's real or not. So in this session, I have received information regarding that, as well as how to use a method to stay in touch with the right side of the brain, so that we can receive more communication from our higher self. So I will play the session, after which I am going to explain to you in basic language what I understand. So here is the session, my friends.
We are the Pleiadians, and we are communicating now. We are connected from the Alcyon planet in our Pleiadian star system. And before we start to communicate our thoughts and insights using your language terms through this instrument, you must understand that you have to use your free will in order to accept and to judge our message, without which there would be a direct acceptance of the thoughts presented. This is not recommended, as we want to preserve the free will on your planet. You must be very cautious of the words and the thoughts you accept, which you may accept if they resonate deeply with your inner heart. Today, this instrument has connected in order to request guidance for the events which are starting on the 22nd of August. These events which are going to start on your planet are of utmost significance for your people at this time, and those who are ready to receive guidance, and those who want their higher self to direct their life towards fulfillment of their true purpose, and those who are desirous of reaching into higher levels of consciousness and achieving their higher purpose, may, using their free will, regard this message as a direction for those who desire such things to occur on their timeline. For without one's desire, the information we are going to share now would be of no use. Furthermore, let us tell you from the 22nd of August, on your planetary sphere, there would be an experience of a unique moon known as the blue moon. And also, this starts the direction as given by the Council of Planets to each of your higher self, which has been directed to maintain higher levels of contact and communicate more in order to assist through the changes that will affect your planets in the coming days. Furthermore, at these times, the period on your planet, many beings may feel uncomfortable because of the activation of the right side of the brain. However, this activation will only occur after this connection period, which shall last from the 22nd of August up until 2 lunar cycles, and will end on the 20th of September as known by your people, wherein entities will have ample amount of time to connect with their higher self and receive the higher guidance and vibration that will allow each to experience a timeline suitable for the activation of the right side of the brain. Also remember that many a times your higher self may be communicating with each of you. However, you may miss its communication because of too much noise inside your own mind complex. Because of this self-created noise inside the mind complex, many insights and higher communications are missed. At this period, which starts from August 22nd, those entities who desire to receive clear communication from their respective higher selves may firstly have to master the aspect of the emptiness of the mind. We as the Pleiadians, we cannot stress how important this is on your planet. Many people on your planet who feel they are awakening to the truth and who feel they are awakening to their true self in order to reach into the fourth density miss this concept, and they do not focus on this aspect. Like we stated before, the emptiness of the mind complex will lead to the opening of the right side of the brain. And the right side of the brain is at a higher vibration, as known by your people according to your chart system. On your so-called vibration chart system, on the lower sides there are emotions, which are primarily created by the left brain. Because of over-analytical activity and because of the act of thinking too much. This act, instead of solving any problem, leads to creation of more problems. And it is only the right side of the brain when activated, when there are no thoughts inside the mind complex, that the solution to any problem arises. This is because your higher self is always in connection with each of you. However, many a times you miss this communication because of overactivation of the left side of the brain, and the thoughts and insights from your higher self is normally mixed with your own thoughts and insights, which create a sort of distortion that leads to a weakening of connection and of communication patterns with your concerned higher self. Also remember that during this time period, only those entities who shall decide to connect with their higher self will receive communications and the insights necessary for the balancing and preparation of the coming changes on the planetary sphere. The connection with each of your higher self will lead to a higher level of vibration. As the higher levels of vibration, and the highest vibration being that of peace, will lead to a solid connection with your higher self, and you will receive the insights and the necessary guidance to prepare. Since there is a time period of only 1 month left for the changes to occur on your planet, those entities who desire to be ready should follow a certain exercise in order to aid in this transition phase. This method may be considered similar to those methods that have been already shared. However, the difference is that this method leads to a activation of the right side of the brain at a proportion higher than that of the left side. The method is simple. To rest your tongue on the upper part of your backside row of your teeth. And when you rest your tongue, touching the upper teeth in a relaxed manner, you may feel a type of connection and quietening of the left side of the brain. This, if done for a long period of time, for this method is the most easiest to activate the right side of the brain, will lead to a quiet mind, and the quietening of the left side leading to an activation of the right side of the brain. Furthermore, this activation then allows the accessing of the higher levels as per your vibration chart. This activation of the higher levels will lead each of you to access the highest level of vibration, which lies at the levels of peace and enlightenment. This peace, if once connected with, will make each of you be able to receive the communication and the guidance from your higher self, We cannot tell you what your higher self shall decide, because each individualized portions of consciousness experiencing life on the Earth planet has different set of rules and different conditions. Hence, the guidance from your respective higher self may be different based upon your situation. Furthermore, also remember that this process is one of the most simple and used processes to connect and open the mind for higher connections. It is also used in our own star system as well. Secondly, this instrument has requested to understand about the concept known as hell as created by the human population. There are many distortions to this concept. However, we shall share with you a short story about how soul contracts operate on the Earth planet. Once upon a time, there was an entity who used to desire another entity. But the other entity which it desired through its heart was already married to another person. So this entity wanted to achieve its desire, and by being overruled by its egoic portions of the mind, killed the other entity's husband, as known by your people, out of desperation in order to unite with the other entity. However, this act led this entity to unite with the other entity who lost its husband, as both the entities were in a love tangle as known by your people. The entity who had been killed crossed over, and this entity waited for the other entity who had killed it to firstly end its incarnation. After the end of the incarnation cycle, both the entities met each other on the astral planes, and realizing the type of karma created, the entity who had been killed had to spend a time on the astral plane healing itself, and the other entity who had killed such an entity had to spend the same amount of time after crossing over on the astral planes, experiencing the event as if it had been done unto him. Because what you do unto others shall be done unto you. This is how the higher self works out the karma created by each entity who fail to realize that each is the one. And this is how many entities experience the so-called hell, experiencing the same events which it had inflicted upon another, onto itself on the astral planes in order to make it realize the pain and the suffering felt by the other. Furthermore, after this experience, both the entities had to reincarnate for another time to settle the karma collected in the previous life. Therefore, beloved, we the Pleiadians leave you now until we connect again.
After watching the session, I hope you have learned how to be ready for August 22nd is around the corner. And they said that this period, okay, that the period of this period will last from August 22nd up till September 20th. So we will have, I believe it's almost 1 month period to activate this part of ourself, and to the basic thing that the Pleiadians have said in the session is we need to be able to keep our mind empty. Okay, the basics that the Pleiadians said is we need to be able to empty our mind, because when we are able to empty our mind, we are able to receive direct contact with our higher self, and the communication is also of a high level. So the information in today's session pertains to how we can activate our right side of the brain. Now we can do this by taking our tongue, okay, and touching it on the back side of the upper row of our teeth. And yeah, it feels when I do it, it feels like something is happening. Okay, it feels like lighter. I feel light, and I feel my thoughts are getting less. And yeah, it's a great addition to the techniques we already have from the previous sessions. We already knew about gliding our tongue throughout our teeth, and we knew about keeping our attention on one tooth, okay, or on one body part. There have been many teachings from the past sessions, and I believe I am planning to do a live session on this 22nd if the internet and the weather permits me. So let's see what happens. And in today's session also, the Pleiadians describe to us what happens when someone commits some kind of negative actions, okay, and what happens is that those people, they have to spend some time on the astral plane facing the same thing that they did onto others, right? So the basic rule is do unto others what you will do unto your own self. So this was really fascinating, and yeah, thank you so much for watching the session, and also thank you all for following me on Patreon, where I am putting uncensored content about the things which I cannot talk on YouTube. So thank you so much.